Good evening and welcome. You are tuned in and watching the Zone Blitz. This is the weekly NFL Female webcast produced and directed by NFL Female. I am Sharona. I'm the official NFL fan reporter for NFL Female. A little bit more on that before we get started. But first, I want to bring my wonderful co-host Sonja in. Let her introduce herself and bring in our guest. And then we'll get started. We're going to have the brain trust behind the wonderful sports app, football app, Gridiron Moe in our first part of the show, first 30 minutes, and then we're going to have Thomas Murphy on to talk about the Patriots and their amazing Super Bowl victory. So we're very excited to have both of them. Sonja, how you doing?
I am doing great. I am, plowing out from all this snow that we've had the past couple days.
I hear ya.
Exactly. Did you guys get anything?
No, well, just a dusting. I have snow envy.
Oh, well, you can come up here and you'd love it. Anyways, I am Sonja. I am the official fan reporter for the Detroit Lions. You can find me on Twitter at mom2, 3RN. And today we are super, super, super excited to have Aris from Gridiron Moe, the awesome new app where you get to call plays. You might even do it better than Pete Carroll. Sorry, guys.
We'll talk about that.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about that. We are.
We will. Sorry. But anyways, the app is called Gridiron Moe. Aris, tell us a little bit about it. I played some during the Super Bowl, but I was having a little bit of trouble multitasking. But tell us all about Gridiron Moe.
You did, Sonja. You did great watching you on the leaderboard climb up and climb up. It was awesome to watch. And thank you very much for having me on the show. Sharona, thank you very much for having me on the show
Thanks for joining
one
us.
more time.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Rhonda says hi. And the whole idea behind Gridiron Moe is unbelievably simple. So you watch a live game, and all that pent-up emotion, you want to call at the TV what should happen on the field, where now you can actually do it. And it all happened. Motivation is really, really funny, and it all happened about a couple of years ago. That was the genesis of the idea. When living here in Denver, and you can guess which team we support, and we were up against the Ravens, and Manning takes the knee.
Did we lose him?
Why on earth are you taking the knee? And you should do anything other than take the... We're back.
Okay, good. There you are.
Yeah. So I was just, I don't know what you missed, but all I was talking about was the inspiration, which is Manning taking the knee against the Ravens. And we all knew what should happen, and we decided to turn that yelling in the living room into an app, which is a very productive thing to do, I believe. Channel the energy where it should go. So we designed and built this app where you can pick the offense and defense plays that you think should happen live during the game, and you vote them, and then you get to see what everybody else is thinking should happen. And that was basically it, and we haven't looked back since. A lot of fun.
Yes, it was. It was actually a lot of fun trying to call the plays and figure out, slant, power run, all that good stuff. So that was really a lot of fun. And so now that this is your first season operating, correct? And so now that that's over,
yes,
how do you think it went?
So we were very lucky with all of these things as they happened. There's trials and tribulations on the way, and we really worked very hard to try to get the app out sooner, but we just couldn't do it for a variety of reasons. But we did manage to get the Super Bowl under our belt, so we have that N of 1, and it was just a pretty awesome experience to see all the fans joining in and playing and voting, and the leaderboard, the bragging rights, and how they ended up. And later on, I'll show you some numbers about the final play and what the fans... Oh, yeah, absolutely, because that was like a unintended consequence. Imagine if you have imagine if you have, like 100,000 people playing, which we did not because we just started, but we had a decent number. But imagine if you have a ton of people voting the play. That is just as valid an insight as the coaches on the sideline. It's based on this geek little science called the wisdom of the crowd, which is very, very famous. If you have a lot of people figuring out a problem, the solution of a lot of people will likely be at least as good as that of the one guy. And that's what we built. A lot of fun, even though it was just a short season.
Yeah, but I mean, at least you kind of got that one game under your belt, and you kind of know, at least some of the kinks and things like that. I did see you going back and forth and asking people, what their thoughts of the app were, and I loved it. I thought that was really good, and I think, sisters, I think that's one thing that we should be able to do next year for bragging rights is pick like a Monday night game or a Sunday night game and just, see who comes out on top or, who comes in second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. and so on.
Yeah, I think that would be fun too.
I think it would be a lot of fun.
It was really funny, Sonja, that you say that. We absolutely true. And on our website, we talk about Family Moe Night, and I'll talk about.
He's got just a little bit of a lag. We'll get him back in here. Just be patient.
No.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Yeah. So I was just talking about. Yeah, I was just talking about Fun Moe Night, and on our website we talk about Family Moe Night, and we were trying to set up to the church, our local church wanted to do a Gridiron Moe Night, and because they have a lot of people that come in and play, but everybody got snowed in and snowed under, and they wouldn't risk it, and so on. But yeah, it's part of reimagining. What we really wanted to do was to reimagine how we watch sports together. That was the whole idea behind the app. And hopefully with a lot of work we will just continue to improve and have a lot of fun.
Now, do you think, you mentioned doing it at a church, do you think that, in the future maybe it could be something that you would have at, say, like, a local bar or something like that, in Denver, and have Gridiron Moe Night there, and then, have it hopefully carry on? Is that something that you'd think about doing?
Oh, absolutely, and we would. You're absolutely right, Sonja. And we would love to see this become like a Gridiron Moe Night in bars across the nation. Because the bragging rights are significant, and we saw this even with the people playing on the leaderboard with just one game. It was just a lot of fun.
Now, Aris, let me ask you this for our viewers who may not. You guys have been on this show before. We're always happy to have you, and we hope to have you on some more. But for those who may not remember, how did you get into football? And you told us about how the app came about, but how did you become a football fan?
Well, when you're married to a Denver girl who supports.
See, I love this story. That's why I want you to tell it.
And you're really only as happy as your wife's team winning. That was the equation, and I didn't really know much about football. Not that I didn't like it or appreciate it. I just didn't know. I was more of an NBA guy or of a basketball guy. But now I have to say that I just absolutely. My NBA is the Spurs. Who else? Very boring selection.
I knew I liked you. I knew I liked you.
Thank you. Thank you. There is no other option really that makes sense to me. So we would watch football, and I would see Rhonda and my father-in-law and friends get into it. And I was amazed. I was the odd one out. I would ask them things like, "What on earth is a down?" Like really basic. So I'm amazed you have not excommunicated me from the show already.
Oh no! Listen, not everybody had the wonderful joy of growing up loving the game from the time that they can remember. And we're all fans here,
Exactly.
So what did you learn during you've got the big game under your belt, a kind of a year behind you. I know that there were a lot of trials and tribulations getting the app up and going. What did you learn during that process?
So we learned that whatever you think the technology is capable of doing, you have to give it more time, and you have to allow for the human element and the programmers and making sure that all works out and all of those details. But what we also learned was that momentum is fantastic, and we want to work on that and build on that. So we got a lot of feedback of the type, what happens when the NFL season is over, which is what happened now. And so we came up with this very simple idea that we've shared with you that people seem to like and look forward to. So we took every Super Bowl, from Super Bowl 1 all the way to the current one, Super Bowl 49, and we've built a quiz, a multiple choice trivia game.
Oh, fun!
Oh, wow!
Oh, absolutely. So you will play it on you'll play it on Moe, and it's not ready yet, but it's gonna be in good old Moe, and you will have a ton of fun. And the points, you will play against the clock, and the points will count towards your next season of Gridiron Moe, and we will build on that. And it's silly questions like, who was the starting quarterback of Super Bowl 1? Who was the MVP? What was the amount of money that was paid to every player when they won? Who did the national anthem?
Questions? Is the quiz timed? Is it like a timed quiz? You have a certain amount of time to answer a question? Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a certain amount of time, and it will be multiple choice, and hopefully you will learn a few things. But it's very basic stuff. Yeah. It will be a ton of fun, and so that will hopefully launch in about a month or so. Then we also have a plan for a draft game. So match the draft picks with the teams and see what everybody else thinks. Again, the theme of Gridiron Moe. And it's amazing that stuff like that doesn't exist, but we love it. And so we'll build on that.
Cool.
Do you have any other plans for projects or what have you?
Yes, so this idea of having the fan vote what they feel during a live sporting event, we want to take it to other sports where you can have that gap between offense and defense, and you can have a votable moment, right? So we're going to release Diamond Moe, which is the baseball version.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, should they throw a curve or slide, hit and run, that type of thing.
Simple stuff like that. And also we will do one for NASCAR, which everybody does a double take and thinks, what?
Just like me.
You're going to do something for NASCAR? But it's even simpler. Like, should you bump draft? Should you go north, south? All of these things. But they're really fun to have them. So that's
I can't wait to see that one, because that is interesting.
Oh, absolutely. But we've talked to enough people to know that there is an absolute market of fans that want to engage with their sport in a completely different way. We know we can't do it with basketball or hockey or some of these other sports because they're just too fast.
Too fast-paced.
Yeah.
Now, did you know that NFL Female has NFL NASCAR or
NFL or NASCAR
female. I'm going to get it right in a minute. NASCAR Female. And we're getting ready to launch all of that. Did you guys know that?
I know now.
Well, you should definitely get with Liz, and I'll get you hooked up with Kate, who is our Cincinnati Bengals OFR, and she's a big
huge NASCAR
person, and she's helping with that, and she'll be a great resource for you.
It's just fun, and again, I mean, the story. What we've really wanted to do is sort of using the family as the unit, because that's how we did it in our own family and figured out the fun of this. What we want to do is to just create that amazing atmosphere in the living room, and we saw this on Super Bowl day. It was a ton of fun, and I'll show you if you want. I'll show you.
Let's talk about the numbers and stuff, and I want to hear what happened on that final play.
Yeah.
So one of the amazing things, and you need to discount my bias about Gridiron Moe, is that it tells us what a whole bunch of fans are thinking should happen on that moment. And so one of those moments was the famous play that everybody talks about, that it should be the Marshawn Lynch run and all of this. And why on earth did Carroll and the Brain Trust go a different way? And everybody thought and said that there is no person that would have done what happened on the field, that would have called that play. Well, the data on Gridiron Moe begs to differ just a little bit, and I'll show you, because this is actually, we wrote this down from the data as it was coming in. I know you can't see it. I will read it.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it very well.
Right, but it was unbelievable. So at that precise moment, when everybody's lining up, 65% of the folks on Moe wanted to see a power run of any kind. 20% wanted to see Wilson run a bootleg, and 15% were voting for some kind of pass action, in a play action, in a shotgun. Absolutely. So it was amazing to us that there were 15% of people that bought into the theory of wasting that down, running the clock down, and then it's just inevitable that Marshawn Lynch is just going to bulldoze everybody in and it will be game over. And it was by no means universal that people disagreed. And for us, it was cool to see, to be able to tell you 15% of people thought that was a darn good idea.
Well, there you go. That is so cool.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That is really neat.
What was it, Aris? What was it like watching? You guys worked so hard on this, and you had so many plans, and to actually see the app being used on Super Bowl Sunday, and to it couldn't have come at a better time with the drama at the end. What was going through your mind as all that was going down?
So Sharona, it's a great question, and we laugh about it with Rhonda and the team. So 3 things were going through our minds. Number 1, darn, why didn't we do this sooner?
Oh, yeah?
Number 2, we were too busy voting ourselves and just engaging and having fun, because what's the point of doing something if you're not going to have fun yourself?
Oh, sure.
Right.
And the third one was what you said. Wow, this actually real people who like this and are playing it and are voting and are having fun. Who knew?
That is so cool.
That's so sweet.
That's so cool. Now, I know that you were asking for feedback. What kind of feedback did you get from your first big game?
So we got very good feedback, universally very good feedback, but we got some interesting ideas about how to do it better. And again, I'm not telling you biffs. Everybody said that they really enjoyed themselves. And I will tell you, if somebody didn't enjoy themselves, that will be me, because I didn't win. But that's besides the point. So people did say that I wish I had more to learn this. So we have to make the way that you get into the game and you can start playing right away. And everybody managed to do it, but a few people said, you know what, it was not that. I had to devote a couple of minutes to figure out how to play the game. And there's nothing wrong with that. You should need to devote a few minutes to figure out something completely new. Yeah, but we take that for what it is, and we have some, so that it will be complete. Go in and start playing, and we look forward to doing that.
All right. Well,
Excellent.
that is so great. So, what did you think about the Super Bowl? Did you enjoy it?
Well, given that our baseline was last year's Super Bowl,
Yeah.
anything. As Broncos fans, so anything would have been an improvement over that horrendous performance. And so we all thought, and I certainly thought, that it was a tremendous game. And it's funny because it came down to 3 plays, I think, which could have gone either way. And Seattle could have wrapped it up, or the Patriots could have wrapped it up, or Seattle again could have wrapped it up, and the Patriots did. So it was 2 heavyweights going at each other, and the last punch is the one that counted. It could have gone either way, but I do think that Seattle skated a little bit closer to the edge with requiring, at least 2 miracles to get to where they were. But they worked very hard to get.
Yeah.
So it was a ton of fun.
All right. Well, tell everybody once again where they can get the app and details on how to go about playing it and what have you.
So the website is www.gridironmoe.com. The Moe is spelled M-O-E, and you can see it on the bottom below my name there on the screen. And we absolutely look forward to welcoming everybody to the Moe tribe. It's just fantastic.
Well, that is so super awesome. Now, when is the game going to launch? Do you know yet?
So we're working very hard, Sharona, to bring this out as quickly as we can. So somewhere in about a month and a half to 2 months, with all the testing, it will be done.
All right. Well, let us know. Yeah, definitely let us know, and we'll get the word out for you.
Exactly. And don't play with Baxter, with Russell, because he'll beat us.
Let me ask you one question real quick, because I'm curious. Was there any play where everybody voted unanimously? Surely not, but I'm curious.
So that fluctuated. So there were some plays where there was. It was just. so people really preferred, and I think that was entertainment value. People like to see Wilson run because it's very entertaining.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was interesting to me, and again, I mean, I was. This is literally, we wrote this down right there. We will frame this because we wrote like, wow, there is at the key moments, the fans really broke out into legitimate groups as to what they thought should happen on the field. That was exciting to see.
That is very, very cool.
That is awesome.
That is
real
very,
time.
very cool.
That's really good.
Aris, thanks once again for coming on. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And congrats on a successful launch.
Thank you. Thank you for helping us and supporting us. Have a good night. Good night.
Not a problem.
Anytime.
Good night.
Anytime. We'll get you guys back on here soon. All right.
Sounds good.
That was Aris. Thanks. That was Aris, the brain trust. He and his wife are the brain trust behind the Gridiron Moe app. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. How cool was that, Sonja?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And like I said, if I wasn't so busy, like multitasking and trying to tweet, I think it would have been really, really fun to play. And I think, if we get together, the ladies as a sisterhood,
I think we should do that.
I think so. We should just pick a game, and, we should go for what we know. And I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too, definitely. We're going to try to get Thomas Murphy. Tom Murphy, Murph, the big green guy. He's there. Yes, hello. Yay! All right, before we get Murph in here, I've got just a real quick announcement to make. I said I was going to, and then I was so excited about the Gridiron Moe people that I forgot. As everybody knows, I have taken over reporting for the entire NFL for NFL Female. I'm no longer the official Titans fan reporter. We're looking for someone to fill that spot. For whatever reason, it somehow got promoted or what have you as a promotion. It is not a promotion. It is a lateral move, people. We are all equal here at NFL Female. We're all passionate about the game and the teams and whatnot. So I'm super amazed that you guys would think that. But before that becomes a thing, it is not a promotion. It is simply assuming a new title and doing a little bit of a different thing, but thank you for all the kind words. I really do appreciate it. But definitely a lateral move, and we're all looking forward to a new and exciting NFL season coming up. All right, but before we get there, let's talk about the end to this one with Mr. Murphy, the big green guy. Hey, Murph, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm sorry about the ongoing technical difficulties.
You're wonderful, and you're here now. That's all that matters.
Yes, that's all that matters, Uncle Murph.
Uncle Murph. Well, if I'm telling you right now, if I had a cell phone, which I do not, because as everybody out there can tell, I am completely illiterate when it comes to anything technical. My ringtone would right now be, "Thanks, Uncle Murph."
Oh,
That was
thank you so
fantastic.
much.
So great, and I'm so glad that you liked it.
Oh, she was
right.
amazed. So what you guys don't know is that my daughter, well, my kids watch football with us, while we're watching football. And I think one time when I was working on the weekends, Greg had the girls watching the Patriots. I think there was a random game on, and so I think he was telling them all about the Patriots and Tom Brady and things like that, and how he went to Michigan and played at the big house that we pass every day. Well, not every day, but pretty regularly. And so every time he came on the TV, she's like, "Oh, there's Tom Brady! There's Tom Brady!" And so she was really, my oldest daughter was really into the Patriots, and just really liking it. So I just
That's
happened
so cool.
It is. I just happened to mention to Murph one day. I was like, my daughter is a real big fan of the Patriots. Gotta love it. And so he was like, "Oh, really?" And so he sent her a very nice T-shirt and a beanie, little hat.
Oh, Murph, that is so sweet.
It was so
Gotta
sweet.
keep her little head warm.
Yes,
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, we're wearing it tomorrow for our winter survival, no doubt.
Oh, I love it.
That is so cool. So Murph and I did some shows together last week, one Sunday morning, and I have to ask him if he I'm going to do some not so humble bragging right now. I have to ask him if he remembers that I, Sharona, totally called not only the score of the game, but the ending as well.
I do remember that, and I was going to call you out while you made that prediction, since I had heard the entire week early. See, what Sharona doesn't realize is I watch almost everything she does in a really non-stalkerish, every breath you take kind of way. And
Sure, that's what they all say.
it picked
I'm
Seattle.
totally not a stalker as I'm following you around the store.
All right.
She had picked Seattle on many a show, including last week's NFL Female, I believe.
This is not true.
She picked the Patriots. I actually picked the Seahawks.
Did she?
I had the score.
Oh, okay.
I did.
I had the
All
score,
right.
but she picked the Patriots. I went Seahawks.
I picked the Patriots from the
All right.
get-go, and I said that the score was going to be 28-20, 23-24, and
Yeah. Okay. No, that does sound.
now did
more,
I want the Seahawks to win? I would have been okay with that.
Well, sure, because you guys are all interested in how big Tom Brady's balls are, and not the fun.
Well, we know he likes them deflated.
Just a little bit deflated.
He's got little hands.
Just a little bit.
Quick question: Is Giselle's hands are they bigger than Tom's? I bet they are.
I think they are.
Yes, they are. They're an inch bigger than Tom's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, she's
Don't ask
taller,
Don't ask me why I know that.
Because you're not a
It's not
stalker.
going to, because we're a family show. We try to keep it clean here.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, what if
All right. So,
you pick the final score, and I am quite happy that you were correct in your assumption.
you actually did sort of call me out Sunday morning. You were like, with Tom Brady and the offense, and I said, no, look, I expect the offenses to do what they do, and they're going to be great, and they're going to do their thing. But I think that the Patriots defense is a little bit underrated, and so there.
And it was
Yes.
underrated in several quarters. In the first quarter, it was vastly underrated, and in the fourth quarter, it was vastly underrated. The problem that they had was closing out the first half, and a couple of ill-timed Tom Brady interceptions. Otherwise, this game wouldn't have been as close as it was.
I agree completely.
So, so let me ask you this: the game, did it go as you expected? Were there any surprises for you?
I was shocked that the Patriots had such a terrible time trying to run the ball. I thought that they would have done a much better job at running the ball than they did. I was actually surprised that Jonas Gray was a healthy scratch. But he could have been scratched so Malcolm Butler was on the field. So that worked out in the end for me. But no, that was basically the biggest surprise that I had coming out of this game, was the fact that that they just did not run the ball as well as they could. But what makes the Patriots so dangerous and what's kept them competitive over a 15-year span, I mean, it's really amazing, is the fact that Bill puts together a team that's so versatile. It's not I'm going to put together a team that's going to beat you one way. If what I'm not comfortable with, if something isn't working in the first quarter, I'm perfectly happy going to plan B, and that's what he did with Shane Vereen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What did you think about the officiating? There was a lot made about the missed call early on. Other than that, I didn't think it was a badly officiated game.
No, I enjoyed the way the game was officiated. Sure, you could complain about the non-roughing the kicker call in the first quarter if you're a Patriots fan, but you could also complain if you were a Seahawks fan about missed PIs in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They let these kids play, and that's what I want in a Super Bowl. Nothing egregious went on. It wasn't chippy until right there at the end. No, they let the kids play. They let DBs put their hands on people on both sides of the ball. There wasn't a lot of overt holding by either offensive line, but it was there. But you can call holding on 90% of the play.
I was about to say, you can call holding anytime.
There was definitely some holding going on. I almost vined one clear. There was a clear hold right in front of the official, and I was like,
yeah.
Let them go. Let them play.
But they let them go and they let them play because it happened on both sides of the ball. And that's the only thing you can really expect out of an officiating crew in a game of this magnitude in the Super Bowl. They didn't make themselves the story. And I don't know how much of what Bill Parcells had said in his second press conference last week didn't lead to that. He kind of called out the officials after Deflategate came out, and to a small degree. And a lot of people thought that might backfire on him, but I think it actually played to his advantage. And the ref said, "Look, we're just going to step it. We are not going to be the story."
Well, they had to know that all eyes were going to be on.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, and Bill made sure of it. It's just another page in the encyclopedia, Belichick, and it worked to a T.
Encyclopedia Bill Tanica.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was tongue-tied, and Sonja saved me there. And but no, it was great. It was great. I don't have any issues with the officiating at all.
Sonja, what about you? Were there any major? Well, let's not talk about the last play yet.
Okay.
Other than that, were there any major surprises for you?
No, not really. I was actually kind of surprised at how well Seattle's defense was kind of hanging in there despite all their injuries. So that was kind of a good surprise in a way. But overall, there were no surprises.
Losing Cliff Averill was huge for them.
Yes.
Yeah, and
losing Cliff Averill was huge. Lang was huge.
I'm sorry, Murph, go ahead.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'd like to thank my good friend Brandon Bolden for actually laying that hit on him. Brandon, if you don't know Brandon Boy, his Twitter handle is BB Hulk Smash. So we have this little green thing happening between the two of us, and he really did in 2 straight games on especially he put hits on people that knocked them completely out of the game, and it was beautiful. I'm sorry, Sonja. I didn't mean to step on you.
It's okay. It's quite all right. But other than that, I mean, it was a pretty good game, all that I asked for. I didn't really have any big surprises or anything like that.
Were you, either one of you, surprised that the Patriots were, by all appearances, not distracted, they didn't buy into all the drama that was surrounding Ballgate?
I was not surprised. You know, everybody at the beginning of the season pretty much had this team written off when they were 2-2, and you know, talking about the end of Tom Brady. Heck, talking about trading Tom Brady, and you know, all he did was just come out and win and dominate. And so, you know, I was not surprised that he was able to that they were all able to put deflate gate behind them and just play the game. I was not surprised.
Murph?
No, I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question?
I asked you if you were at all surprised that the Patriots did not seem one iota distracted by Ballghazi.
Yeah, I was. I was a tad bit surprised. I have to say, a lot of people said that this would unite the team. I really wasn't sure. Tom was going to be gripping the ball as tight as can be anyway after the last 2 Super Bowls. You know, he won 3 coming out of the gate. He had lost his last 2. I think this would have seriously done a little something to his legacy if he ended up 3-3 in Super Bowls, and I really, in this part of the country, I stand alone on that. Everybody else was lamented that it wouldn't change anything, but I thought it would, and I thought he thought it would. So no, I was surprised the way he was able to block everything out and use it as an us against the world thing. Because
I'll have to think about that. You know, we were going to talk about Tom Brady later. Sonja, what do you think? Would it have changed his legacy if Tom Brady hadn't won this game?
Potentially. I think it would have changed his legacy.
I have to agree with Sonja.
I don't think it would have changed it a whole lot because you still put him up there with the greats, but
sure.
You know, he wouldn't have
now
that
he's in the discussion.
4th ring because he's got that 4th ring, and I think that's what sets it apart.
Yeah, I think it would have, because now that he's done it, and I said too that as long as Tom Brady had a decent game, that if they won, that he would get the MVP award, and sure enough, you know, he got it. Do you guys think that he deserved it?
Yes, with that 4th quarter, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt, even with the 2 picks, even with the swing in the score because of them. Because even though Seattle didn't score off that first pick, it was still at least a 3-point swing. You know, from where they were on the field. But yeah, no, I'm right there with you. This win solidifies him in my mind as the greatest to ever play the game. He's done it better, longer, harder than anyone else ever. He's at the top of the pyramid.
Sonja, what do you think? Did he deserve the MVP?
I think he did. I mean, he had to come back and he had to lead his team back, and he did a great job. And I don't know, I just think, yes, he is probably one of the greats to ever do it. And like you said, Murph, he's done it for how long now? 15 years?
Yeah, 15
6th round pick?
Yeah.
Really?
He wasn't even the starter at Michigan, was he?
No, he wasn't a starter at Michigan. There was a long time, going back and forth between him and Drew Henson, and everybody loved Drew Henson, but,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Was he deserving of it? I think I would have picked Julian Edelman. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Quarterbacks get all the glory. I'm totally not shocked that Tom Brady was named the MVP. They get that shine. But I think that without Julian Edelman, Tom Brady does not make those great all of those great plays. And what he did, after that hard hit that he got, I thought he was concussed. I just knew he was coming out of the game. But anyway.
He probably was concussed, and he probably was not concussed enough to show it, but able to at least kind of.
No, what saved him after that hit was the fact that he got up and ran downfield. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, he probably, would have been sitting on the sideline somewhere, somebody asking, how many fingers am I holding up?
Yeah, I bet they coach that.
Yep. I bet they do. I have no doubt in my mind that they do. And I wouldn't have any arguments if he did get the MVP, but the fourth quarter that Tom put in, it was one for the ages. It was something that personally I'll never forget. Being down that many points to this defense, no matter who was hurt.
Yeah.
Since you brought up the subject of the hit, why is it that everybody's talking about the concussion or possible concussion, and not the fact that Cam Chancellor launched himself into Julian Edelman like a Scud missile? There wasn't a flag thrown. You did not see no word from the commissioner's office or anything about a fine coming that way. That was a serious helmet-to-helmet hit, and if you watch the replay of that hit and you see it from the end zone angle, I don't know if you guys watch the All-22 or not. You could see it there. It was one of the most vicious things that I've seen in a long time. And I thought, like I said earlier, I can't complain about the officiating. A flag should have been thrown on that play, and if it wasn't, a fine should come from the league for the way Chancellor went right at Edelman's head.
Be interesting to see. When was the last time someone got fined in the Super Bowl? I don't even remember. Does anybody know?
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, really, where's Russell, our guru?
Exactly.
Anyway, we're going to talk about the Seahawks just a little bit but before we do that, it's incredibly hard to do this, and we saw the Seahawks couldn't do it. Can the Patriots repeat? They're a young team. They're like, aren't they the youngest team? I think they're the youngest team to ever win a Super Bowl, aren't they?
No,
they are.
Oh, they are? I thought Seattle last year was the youngest to do it, but these guys are younger.
Several different people have it between 25.3 and 26.4 years of age as the average age of New England Patriots. And I don't know if you guys watched Media Day and saw Little Miss Mayo running around the field asking questions to Bill Belichick and things. But I think maybe they used her to lower the average age of the Patriots since Daddy plays for the team. It was the most adorable thing I'd ever seen.
Oh, I bet she is cute.
She's cute.
So cute, it's unreal. She looks like she fell off a charm bracelet. But no, this is the youngest team to ever win the Super Bowl, and if I don't see why, if they can bring this team back intact, which is the question, because there are a lot of key free agents that they can't get back again. I don't see anybody in the AFC keeping them from getting there again.
Mm-hmm.
Sonja, what do you think?
I think they right now are the favorites to come out of the AFC, and I think you think about it, and I don't even think that there right now is a team that could challenge them. You think of Denver, but what about Peyton Manning? You think maybe...
So many questions there.
Yeah, I know. Too many questions here. You think maybe the Ravens, but I don't know. I just don't see it. I really don't see it.
Yeah, we're going to be we're going to do some team updates and talking about this. What team, is there a surprise team in the AFC, that could come up and challenge the Patriots, the Chargers maybe? I don't know. I don't know. The Steelers made some changes during the off season. They are no longer going to be with Dick LeBeau. Their defense hasn't been this, what it once was. Could they be the ones to do it? The Ravens, they've got some holes, but still, a good team. It's going to be interesting to see. The Dolphins, maybe.
Potentially.
What about the Bills? Murph laughs at that. Listen, I like some of what the Bills are doing. The coaching situation was insane, but they've.
This is their Thorazine. Is Rex Ryan? No. This is ridiculous. The one team that they managed to beat twice in the division, that's the head coach that they decide to bring in. No, this was ridiculous. He has the same problems that he had in New York. He doesn't have an offense. He has no quarterback.
Well, he's got a different front office, though.
He's got a different front office that has no first-round pick because they traded it away for a wide receiver. They didn't have a quarterback to throw him the ball. His
I still think EJ,
18 years old.
We'll get to see what EJ Manuel can do now. It was a bizarre year for the Bills in so many ways. We'll see. We're going to get our Bills girls on here and talk to them.
Cap space. They do have that, and I'm a little.
You can hate on Fred Jackson all you want, but he's still out there doing that thing.
Every time I hear Caribbean Queen, I get up and dance. I love Freddie Jackson.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the Seahawks. I want to ask you guys this. The game not only ended with the defensive play that I called, but with a fight as well. Are the Seahawks sore losers?
That's a very good question. I love my mom. I was talking to her tonight.
Is Dana O'Gorman going to be watching this?
Possibly at some point, yes.
Yes, the Seahawks were sore losers.
Go ahead, Sonja.
Like I said, I was talking to my mom about this earlier, and I was like, I was a little bit disappointed in the Seahawks, in their behavior. And, I expected them to, at least try and lose a little bit of dignity. And I understand emotions run high and things happen, but I don't know. I was a little bit disappointed by them and that ending of the game. I mean, somebody got ejected. Nobody's ever gotten ejected before. And that's not the kind of records you want to have at the Super Bowl. So I was just a little bit
disappointed. Bruce Irvin?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. And so I was just a little bit disappointed in them and, their play at the end. That's all.
Murph?
Yeah, I didn't like the way Sherman went right at Edelman there at the end. I didn't like any of it. I thought it was terrible for all the kids out there, like Sonja's daughter, who might have still been up watching the end of that game.
She was.
My son Butchie, who was up watching the end of the game, he couldn't believe it. It was a really terrible example to set, and I thought that they carried it over into the press conferences afterwards, because when they were questioned on it, answers like, well, you obviously have never done anything physical in your life, so you don't understand what it's like to put it all on the line. No, people out there do, and that's not the way you go about business when you have been beaten fairly and with to come at people with malice the way that did, it just completely rubbed me the wrong way. I lost a lot of respect for a lot of the Seahawks that I had a lot of respect for earlier.
I have to say I lost some respect for the Seahawks as well. And it actually started a little bit earlier than that. I'm not going to talk about the play that NBC wisely yanked
Yes.
from. I am extremely disappointed in Doug Baldwin.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear about this. Maybe one of you could tell me about it offline if you don't want to during the show.
I'm not going to publicize it on here because it's the kind of attention-seeking behavior that appalls me. So, and I like Doug Baldwin, but I will definitely. Yes, I'm Team Doug Baldwin, but yeah, no, I lost some respect for him and for some of the other Seahawks as a result of some of the things that happened at the end of that game. So yeah, and we'll definitely fill you in on that. It doesn't really bear repeating on the show, but yeah, let's talk about the play that the controversial play call at the end. Some interesting data from Gridiron Moe, Sonja.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, I think, and I like stuff like that.
Very cool.
And hopefully, as the popularity increases, we'll be able to see more and more things like that too, coming from different games. I think that's really awesome.
Yeah. Was it the wrong call, Murph?
Of course it was the wrong call. I don't care if he was 0 for 400 on the season from the 1-yard line. You have the best running back, the best power back that I've seen since, I don't know. I can't.
Barry Sanders?
I would not call Barry Sanders a power back.
No,
I call Barry Sanders the
No, you said best running back.
No,
he wasn't a power.
He said power back.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
So,
no, Barry Sanders wasn't a power back, but in his own way, he had that.
Running back of all time, I'll tell you that much. Barry Sanders is the best hand down that I'd ever seen. But no, you have to hand the ball off there. How do you make that man a spectator? In that, the only person I would rather hand the ball off to in that situation is William the Refrigerator Perry.
Jerome Bettis.
Yeah, okay, Jerome Bettis, thank you.
Congratulations on that haul, baby.
Yes.
Well deserved.
Very well deserved.
Yeah. Notre Dame kid, holding that Irish pride up, getting into the Hall of Fame. But no, I can't believe it was the absolute wrong call. But he made it, and what are you going to do? I know I'm gonna live with a big smile on my face for doing it for the rest of my natural born life.
Sonja, what do you think?
Yes, again, that was the wrong call. I was thinking that, then I go to beast mode and he's going to plow it in and that's going to be it. But, yeah, he made the wrong call. And if, he didn't go to Marshawn, I thought at least, Russell was going to try and do, what he had done a couple times during the NFC championship game, just run it in. So, I thought that was what was coming in. That was another thing that kind of surprised me is that, Pete Carroll didn't bring anything like that out during the game like I thought he might have. Some special teams trickery or things like that he's done in the past. But I don't know. That kind of surprised me a lot. But even if he had completed the pass to Lockett, still probably wouldn't have been a touchdown. But, at least gotten them a little closer and another shot to then try and hand it off to Marshawn. But didn't happen, and there was that big interception.
Yeah, I didn't really have that big of an issue with the play. Yeah, it was a cute call. They kind of out-cuted themselves. Nobody expected Russell. Russell Wilson is generally very protective of the football. He, and I understand. I froze. I understand Marshawn Lynch is the best back in the game right now. Absolutely, positively, no question. But Russell Wilson makes plays too. And I can't, they had one, the thought process was one, if this doesn't work, it's third down, and well, it was definitely 4-down territory anyway. They were going to have 2 more plays. Hindsight's 20/20. If the play works, we're all like, yeah, I thought it was going to be Marshawn, but no, Russell Wilson, woo!
Yeah, exactly.
So, them's the breaks. So,
and them's were some breaks.
Yeah. All right.
Breaks. Finally, some good karma for the Patriots at the end of the Super Bowl.
Finally.
I just couldn't believe that I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were going to get into this later or not, but it sure looked like for the third straight time, Tom Brady was going to give his team the lead in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, and his defense was going to lose it for him.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, but this year's defense was, I think it's definitely better than it has been in years past.
Oh, without a doubt. But it's still, after that catch, it just, I couldn't believe, after the Edelman touchdown, I didn't think that there was, I was dancing off the ceiling. I was just going insane. I didn't think there was any way, shape, or form that they would have gotten down the field again.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, real quick, I was checking out the ESPN blog, the Patriots blog, and they were a little bit critical of Jamie Collins, which I thought was quite unfair. What did you think?
How can you be critical of Jamie Collins after the season that he had?
I don't know.
The fact that
he was in coverage on that Marshawn Lynch long reception.
That Jamie Collins is not somebody that should have been expected. I thought it was amazing that he caught up to him.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. He made an amazing play.
Do you know offhand?
I'm sorry?
Wrote,
I do not. I'm sorry. I'll send you the link to that as well as to the Doug Baldwin thing. Great stuff, Murph. We know that you love Google Plus, so we really appreciate you joining us. Tell everybody where they can find you, and your list of shows is many, but give us the Reader's Digest version.
The Reader's Digest version is, folks, you can follow me at tmurph207 on Twitter. You can read me at thesportsinfusion.net, and through there you can find all the shows that I do and all the appearances that I have. I just want to thank you both for having me here today and putting up with my Google Plus incompetence.
Oh, we love you, Murphy.
It's
you're
okay.
You're
We
the
love
best.
you, Uncle Murph. You are the best.
You're the best. All right.
Go
So
Pats.
you tell everybody where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Twitter at mom2, 3, RN. You can always find me writing for NFL Female, and also you can find me writing at A Good Sports Hang. We cover all sports, so make sure you check out everybody over there as well. And that's pretty much where you can find me.
All right. Well, I'm Sharona. You can follow me on Twitter at Sports by Sharona. You can find me at NFL Female writing about the NFL. And we're getting ready to turn our attention to there really is no off season. We're going to talk about off season activities, do some team reports, talk about some other things, do some draft stuff. So we'll be back next week, next Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, with another great show. So stay tuned in. Shout out to Liz, without whom none of this is possible. Thanks for watching. Have a very pleasant evening, and we'll see you next week.
Good night.
I still love you, Dougie.